Thank you for interviewing with Showing here. Would you start off with what's your name?
My name is Angela Zamora, and I go to St. Aloysius High School. I'm a junior.
How old are you?
I'm 16, about to turn 17.
And is there anybody, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 4 sisters. I have 3 older sisters and I have a younger sister.
Do you guys all get along, right?
Most of the time.
Oh, really? You do?
Most of the time.
That's really nice. And do they live with you or are they on their own?
One brother is with my younger sister. The rest of my older sisters, they go to college and they got jobs and they have their own house and apartments.
Nice. So they're all pretty much set. Do you, and who else is in your family?
My mom, my dad, and my cousins on my dad's side, and my 2 cousins on my mom's side.
And where's your family from?
My family is from Guatemala.
And for those who don't know, where is Guatemala?
Guatemala is just right under Mexico.
Okay. Some people think Guatemala is in Mexico, so I'm just like, wanting to clarify.
No, the thing about that was that Guatemala owed Mexico money, and so to get out of debt, they sold a part of Guatemala to Mexico. So what you know is Chiapas in Mexico, that was actually part of Guatemala, but Guatemala just sold it to Mexico, so now it's part of it.
I didn't know that. So there might be some Guatemalan Mexicans, or Mexican Guatemalans.
Yeah, it's all mixed, so like, that's why we're like combined, that's why when you see a Mexican, they might have some Guatemalan traditions, or if you see a Guatemalan, they might have some Mexican traditions.
I did want to mention something because I did hear some, I'm in a high school setting and I do hear a lot of people, and they may be Hispanic too, and they will make fun of someone who's Guatemalan. Like they could be Mexican, they could be from somewhere else, and they're making fun of someone or using, oh, that person is Guatemalan. How does that make you feel? And do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Yes, I know what you're talking about because I, for one, have experience in it, but for me, if like they call me a guap as an insult,
Guat or guap?
Guap, they say both. And I find that insulting because if per se I were to make fun of another Hispanic country, I would be hated on because you're not supposed to do that. And I think as Hispanics, and as we have different varieties, we have Nicaragua, we have Peru and stuff, I think we should be more closer because one for one we speak like the same language, and 2, we're like cousins, and I don't think we should be treating each other that way. I think we should all be treated equal because look at now Mexico, how the president is just saying all these derogatory things about Mexico, and I'm Guatemalan, I'm not Mexican, but my mother was adopted by Mexican. I feel like, I feel a little offended because it's like disrespect towards my grandmother. And, I'm not gonna I'm standing next to Mexicans, I'm acting as if somebody who I'm with them. So just to have them to say that about mom, it's like, we're here trying to support you. You're just saying that to us. Not all Mexicans are like that, but I'm saying it shouldn't be that way.
I totally understand, and I agree with what you're saying. Do you say anything about other Mexicans or about Mexicans or any other Hispanic countries?
I think of it as like we're all family. Like I have a Dominican friend. She's like my sister because when we speak our Spanish, it's like a secret language and nobody else understands it. So when we're talking and somebody else doesn't understand, I find that something very unique. Like it's just something that Hispanics have. It's just something that we have, nobody else has.
How does it make you feel when people are divided like this? And you guys share the same language, share some similar foods, share the same skin color, and for most of the world, anybody outside of those Hispanic countries view everyone as pretty much Hispanic or Mexican, unfortunately. So on the outside, when people try to make those divisions, everyone on the outside is looking at you guys all the same. No one's going to say, oh, this person's Guatemalan, this one's Mexican. They're talking about everyone who's from Hispanic background. They don't see the divisions that, say, a Mexican could see or someone from another Hispanic country could see.
I don't think that's right. It's just not something that should happen. Not so long ago, we were segregated. Not so long ago, we were slavery, and we had moved on past from that. I think we should be able to move on past from this. It shouldn't just stay here. I wouldn't want my child to experience the derogatory remarks that I have experienced or my sisters. I mean, I just feel sad of it because just me myself, just knowing that my uncle at some point to go get passports from my cousins, who was sent back to go back home to find somebody who spoke American because his English wasn't that great. When he told us that, I felt anger, I felt sadness, and wanted to cry because that was my family that was being treated that way. And it's just, I hurt because it's like, he may not show his hurt, but I know deep down he was affected by it. Because as my family, when I grew up, I was taught to be tough, as in you could not show any weakness to no one. So if something bad happened to you, you had to just suck it up, you had to put on your pants, and you had to keep on moving because, you're gonna have to experience tough, sad things, deaths, and you just had to learn how to toughen it up and move on. And I think that wasn't, that's not really good sometimes, but just knowing that he had just sucked it up and kept on going. I felt sad because he couldn't express his sadness, so I don't think he got to, show how affected he was.
What are some similarities between America and Guatemala?
In America, there's a lot of mixed couples, and in Guatemala as well, there are also mixed couples. Missionaries come over to visit, and sometimes they fall in love in there. They find a wife and they have kids. So in Guatemala, some kids are born. Like my cousin, he was born with he has red hair and it's really curly, and he has green eyes. And he's very light skinned, so he just looks white. So when I got there, I thought he spoke English because I thought he was born in America and came down to Guatemala to live. But that wasn't what happened. His father was just born in a different country, and so we're all just mixed. So it's just very mixed, just like here.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And what are some other similarities that you noticed?
Education-wise, sometimes, if you have the money, then you get the proper education. You can afford a lot of things and you can get really good jobs. But if you don't have the money, your education isn't as good because you have to work, and then you have to go to school, and you have to help out with siblings, and so
that's like a third job. No one thinks about it.
So you have to try really hard, and so education-wise, it's kind of the same here.
It's not it's a priority for them, but that's not an opportunity everyone gets in Guatemala. Mm-hmm. Did your family get to go to school?
My mother, she luckily did, but for my father, he had to work to go to school because his dad wanted him to work, but his mom enforced that he go to school because that's what my dad wanted to do. He didn't want to work. He wanted to help out his family, but he wanted to have an education because he was thinking of the future. He was thinking of us. He wanted a good job to support his family. And so my grandfather finally decided to let him go to school while his siblings didn't really go to school. They worked.
And how young were they when they were working?
They were little. They were 10.
They started working at 10 years old?
8 years old.
What do they do at that age?
You have to go up to the mountains and you help out with the harvest. You have to help with getting the corn, picking tomatoes, the potatoes, or you cut wood and you bring it down and you sell it.
Wow, that's very hard work. I'm sure they didn't drive up there either, right? They have cars to take?
There were cars, but you had to pay. And if you didn't have the money, like my father's family, they walked under the sun.
Wow, that's amazing. And so they weren't going to school and they had to work for their families and they probably weren't getting, how much were they getting paid?
It wasn't that much. My father didn't tell us. He doesn't go into detail, but he told us it wasn't that much.
Could you imagine yourself working? Because I know some kids don't even like walking to the pencil sharpener, which is 5 steps away. So could you imagine yourself at 8 years old starting to work?
No.
And do all this heavy manual labor, walking, climbing mountains?
No. I know I couldn't do it for work because that's just something you don't think about when you're 8, climbing up a huge mountain to do work under the sun, under the cold, when you don't have the proper clothes, and sometimes you don't have the good shoes, or you don't even have shoes at all.
So what was the conditions that your family came from?
Well, my dad lived up in the mountains, and my mother, she lived in a pueblo. And the difference was that my mother in the pueblo, it's like a little town, and so it's more modern. Unlike if you were to live in the mountain, everything is more as if like there's electricity, but it's not that good, and your floors are just dirt, and your walls are concrete, but you just have to work under the sun.
How did your parents meet?
They met when they were small, and around like their middle school time, they met and they started going out because they went to the same school.
So your father came down to the pueblo?
No, they traveled to another little pueblo, and that's where they went to school. And so that's where my father met my mother, but at some point they broke up because my mother wanted to pursue more education, and my father was more of a work education, and so he didn't have time. But thankfully later on, when they went to college, they met up again, and that's when a few years later, my mom was 21 and my dad was 23, and they had my older sister, and they got married.
So they both went to college?
But they didn't stay that long because my dad, they had just had their kid, and so my dad stopped going to school and he got a job to support my mom.
Makes sense.
And my mother stayed home with my sister, so my mom just stopped her education. She didn't continue it, and neither did my father.
What are some Guatemalan values?
One is you have to work hard to get to where you want to be, because it's not going to be handed to you. You have to work for it. Another thing is your family is very important. Your family will always be there to support you, and family is just a big thing for me because I was taught that you have to be able to protect your family, and you have to you have to respect one another because your family will always be there. But for friends, my father always tells me you were born alone, and so you will die alone. So for friends, he tells me your friends will only be there for so long. Your family will be there forever. So for us, it's more as in we're very family oriented.
It's funny, my family says the same thing. I would say the same values as you said for the Indian culture. Family and working hard, and it's like family's thicker than, as thick as blood, right? So very interesting you said that. And do you think those values have motivated you to do well in life?
Yeah, my dad, he's very big on education because he had to struggle to get his, while we just have to, it's very easy, you just go to school. And
you don't have to work another job, or do you work right now?
No. For us, it's he tells us you have to get a very good education because you have to be higher than me. Right now, I'm working a job maintaining a golf thing. And
a golf course?
Yeah. And my grandfather, he worked under the sun. And so he told us, I went higher than my father, but you have to go even higher than me. You have to be a doctor, be a teacher, be a lawyer.
Oh, I'm really happy that he said teacher. Not many people say teacher.
Yeah. Because
it's highly esteemed. They're respected professions. Yeah. And you don't have to work under the sun.
In Guatemala, teachers are very well respected.
And I wish we taught the American youth that.
Yeah, you have to respect your teachers. When I went to visit Guatemala, I noticed that the students respected their teachers a lot. And they were very friendly with their teachers, as if they were friends or cousins. And that's how my dad taught us. He told us to respect our teachers because what they're doing is very important. And so he also asked teachers as a career. Right now I'm in the early childhood academy because I wanted to be a preschool teacher, but I also wanted to be a person to work with child care protective services. So
need people like you.
I want to be a tattoo artist.
Oh, you went from preschool teacher to child protective services, and now it's tattoo artist?
Yeah, art is very.
Do you even have a tattoo?
No, but
You
I
have
will.
paint? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of drawings. Art is.
I wish you had brought some.
Oh yeah, I have a lot. Art is a very big thing in my life. Art is the way I express myself. It's something that I do. I don't do it for other people, but to be able to know that something that I drew myself is on somebody else and it'll be on them forever.
So you don't want to be like the person doing the tattoos. You want to be the person that does the drawings for the tattoos.
I want to do both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but for now, I'm not in an art class because they didn't give it to me.
You can still be doing art on your own, and a lot of artists are self-taught.
Yeah, I'm a National Art Honor Society. So it's a club for people who love art.
Awesome.
So you do a whole bunch of things, like you do many crafts, you do drawings, you do paintings, and it's after school. So it's like I did it because I didn't have the class. I don't have room in my schedule because early childhood is double block. So that only leaves me with one other class for free, and that's AP Psych. So I didn't have room, and they wouldn't give it to me because they didn't see it as important. It wasn't a subject that's important.
How many? And that's sad though, because art. There's so many people that are creative artists, and we need people that envision things that aren't there, and those are the ones that are the artistic types.
Yeah, and it's not important apparently. So
is art important to you?
Yeah, it's important to me.
It's important enough for you to do it outside of school?
Yeah.
Are you drawing in your free time?
Now I don't really have much free time because I have to study real hard for all the tests that I have every 2 weeks. And so I have like tests every 2 weeks. And so I'm doing my homework, and I have a nephew, and when he comes over, I take care of him, and I help with my sister cooking, and I have to clean the house.
And you're busy too. You're working basically too.
Yeah, so I have just other priorities. So it's school, and I don't really have much time for drawing. So like if it's Christmas break, I'll do it. Other than that, I don't have time.
So you take care of your family, you cook, and you clean, and then you also study. What do you think about immigration?
Immigration is a very touchy topic for many people. I think it's sad what's going on with immigration, and I think in some way what the president did about people with criminal records to go back to I think in some way that is good, because there are some very bad people who should go back, but there are some people who do commit a small crime only and solely because they're doing it in order to protect their family or to help their family. And so most of the time, most people work very hard to come here. I mean, just to get over here itself is really hard. And some people die in the process. And I mean, just to come over here and try working really hard for your family, for your kids, and just to be sent back. And when you go back, you don't have anything because you've been here for a very long time. And just to go back and return to nothing, I think it's very sad. Everybody's an immigrant. Immigrants created the nation. Like
all the workers and the railroad tracks, all the ideas that we have, even in the tools on the web, Google. A lot of these companies, Uber, they were all started by foreigners.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, and hope you success in your future endeavors and everything else in your life. And I'm really happy that you came down to meet us, and that's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do you feel having done the Sean Hill interview on Hispanic youth?
I feel relieved in some way that at least my voice is out there, and to just try to help the Hispanic community as a whole, and just try to prove every stereotype wrong, and just be one of the many voices for the Hispanic community.